Okay, guys, these are the notes for lesson 13-2. This is just the very start of introducing the unit circle and the basic understandings of all those concepts. So in this lesson, or these notes, what you should understand, number one, is what standard position of an angle is and how to rotate. And then we'll get into reference angles and then sine and cosine. But these are the very first basic skills that we need in order to tackle the unit circle, as well as when we start getting into the sine and cosine functions. All right, so let's go through some vocab first. The first one is standard position of an angle. All right, so an angle whose vertex, okay, is always at the origin. So you guys, you know that that's the vertex right there. The vertex of this angle is at the origin, 0, 0. Okay, and what we call the initial side is on the positive x-axis. Okay, so right here, guys, this is my initial side. This does not move. Okay, this is where the angle starts, and we're either going to rotate in a positive direction or a negative direction. Okay, if this is the initial side, all right, we have, well, first of all, let me put this down here. So this is the x-axis. Okay, also, if we're starting here at the origin and we're going to rotate in a positive or a negative direction, okay, we're going to start at 0. Okay, if we travel up here, this is going to be 90 degrees, 180, 270, and all the way around is 360, okay? Okay. This is the initial side right here, okay? And then we also have what we call the terminal side. So think of them as hands on a clock, okay? One's going to stay stationary, and then the terminal side is going to rotate around, okay? So the terminal side is the ray or side of the angle that is not along the x-axis, okay? All right. Positive angles will rotate in a counterclockwise, okay? Counterclockwise direction, okay? If you think about, a clock, obviously going backwards, that's going to be a positive rotation. Negative rotation is clockwise, okay? All right. All right, going down here again, right here would be my initial side of my angle, and this right here is my terminal side. Now it's kind of hard to see on the notes, but that's an arrow that's telling you the direction. All right, so what this is telling you is that this angle is a 36-degree positive angle. Okay, all right, here 315, we're going again initial side. We're going in a counterclockwise direction, so that's a positive rotation. So this angle would be 315 degrees. Okay. Okay, for this one, we're going in a clockwise direction. We're going this way, so that's a negative 150. So again, my initial end, there's my terminal end. All right, let's see if we can do a couple of these. All right, so example number 1, find the measures of the angles below. Okay, all right. So again, we're going to start here with our initial end, and this is our terminal end. So you can see that we are rotating in a positive direction. So we're opening up in a counterclockwise direction. Okay, so you know that this is 90 degrees and that's 180. All right, so a straight line, if I were to open up to a straight line, that would be 180. So we're going to take 180 and we're going to subtract that 45 degrees. We're going to subtract that, and that will leave us with that angle, and that's going to be 135 degrees. Okay, so if I had to label that, that would be a rotation of 135 degrees. Okay, for this one, you can see again, we start with our initial end and we're going to rotate in a negative direction. Okay, so we're going to rotate obviously from here to here is 90 degrees plus another 30 degrees. That's going to be 120 degrees. But since it's in a negative direction, we reference that as a negative 120 degree angle. Okay, all right. Letter C. Start with my initial side. We are going in a clockwise direction, so that is a negative rotation. We're going to go all the way around except 10 degrees. So you guys know that all the way around a full circle is 360. We're going to take away that 10. So that means I want negative 350 degrees. Again, negative because we went that clockwise rotation. Okay, D. All right, so again, start at my initial end. We start here. We're opening in a negative direction. And we're going to go, it looks like we're going to go 90 plus another 15. So they're indicating here that that's 15 degrees. So 90 plus 15 is going to be 105 degrees. Since it's a negative rotation, negative 105. Okay? All right. Okay, example number 2. Sketch each angle in, again, standard position, which just tells you that your vertex is here and your initial side is there, okay? So we want to sketch an angle that's 85 degrees. Well, hopefully you know that 85 is less than 90. So we're just going to sketch in an angle like this. We're going to show our direction arrow that we are going in a positive rotation. And we're going to put in 85 degrees. So that would be an 85 degree angle in standard position. Okay, all right. B, negative 320. Again, once again, start with our initial end. Okay, it's negative, so we're going to start off by rotating around, okay? So let's see here, 320. Well, this is 90 degrees, 180, okay? Here is 270. So if I went from here to here to here to here, okay, in a negative direction, that's negative 270, okay? And I need to go negative 320, so I need to go another, what, 50? So we'll just go roughly like that, okay? It doesn't have to be exact, it's just a sketch. We're gonna draw in our direction arrow, negative 320. Okay, now just on a side note, let's say that on our, we haven't talked about it yet, but on our unit circle, we land right there. If I wanted to get there another way or a different way, I could have also rotated this way 40 degrees. Okay, if I would have rotated 40 degrees, positive direction, I would have landed right there. Okay, so these are coterminal angles, and we'll talk about that in a second. But that's all 2 ways to get to the same spot. Okay, C, 210 degrees. All right, we're going to start in our standard position. All right, this is going to be 90, 180. Okay, I need to go to 210. So let's see here. From 180 to 210 is 30. So I just have to go another 30 degrees. And this would be 210 degrees in a positive direction. Do you guys understand that? So all I did was I went to 180 and then I went another 30 degrees. Okay, 30 degrees to give me 210 because 180 plus 30 is 210. All right, and I talked about this briefly in example number, or example A, or example B, sorry, about coterminal angles. Coterminal angles are two angles in standard position that share a terminal side. Okay, so that's this side right there. You notice how 40 degrees and negative 320, they both share that side. To find coterminal angles, add or subtract 360 as many times as you need, because we want whatever this coterminal angle is, we want it less than 360, okay? All right. Example 3, find the measure of an angle between 0 and 360 coterminal with the given angle. All right, so 464. So I'm going to take 464, I'm going to subtract 360. That gives me 104 degrees. So 464 and 104, those are coterminal. That means if I were to put them on or in standard position, both of them, they'd both land in the exact same spot. They would share that terminal side. All right, so now since it's negative 176, I'm going to add 360. That's going to give me 184. So 184 would be my coterminal angle to negative 176. Okay, now look at C. Watch this. 825, I'm going to subtract 360. That's going to give me 465. Now, this number is not between 0 and 360, so I'm going to have to keep going. 465. Subtract 360, and that's going to give me 105 degrees. So there's my coterminal angle to 825. Okay, the last thing with these notes today is this thing called the reference angle. And actually, this is actually very important. Okay, when we talk about the unit circle. All right, a reference angle is the acute, okay, less than 90, angle between the terminal side and the x-axis. It will always measure between 0 and 90. That's why they name it or call it acute. All right, so watch. Let me give you the whole idea of what's going on. All right, so find the following reference angle. So 135, I'm going to start with my initial end. I'm going to go to 90, okay, plus another 45. So if I go up to 90, all right, and another 45, that's going to give me 135 degrees. Now, the reference angle is this guy right here. This is the reference angle. It's the x-axis and that terminal side. So we're looking, this is what we call the reference angle right here. So this would be 45 degrees. Okay, that's what we're looking for. So this is my standard position, this is 135, and this is the reference angle right here, this little guy. All right, that's the x-axis and that terminal end. It's very important because we're going to use that on the unit circle a lot. Okay, all right. 215, so let's see here, 215. That's if I start again in the initial, this is my initial side. I'm going to go from here to here, that's 180. So what's 215? I'm going to subtract 180, and that's going to give me 35, right? So if I draw that in, this whole thing is 215, but if I want the reference angle, that's this guy. This is the reference angle, and that is 35 degrees. So there's my answer. That's what I'm looking for, because we're going to be using that angle on the unit circle. All right. Okay, 295. Let's see here. Let's start at 0, 0. We're going to rotate at least to 180, at least to 270. This is 270, right? And I'm going to go probably, what, another 25? So this is 295. So I went from 90 to 180 to 270, plus another 25. All right, now be careful. This is not my reference angle. Right here, this is my reference angle. It's the x-axis and that terminal side. So think about it like this. If this is 25, okay, this whole thing is 90. So let's take 90 minus 25, 60. All right, so this reference angle is going to be 65 degrees. Again, we're looking at this reference angle right there. Okay. Now you could also, if you want to find this, you could also take 360, which is the whole thing, and subtract 295, right? And that's going to give you what's left over, 65. All right. Now down here, guys, this is some things you can look at. This may help you a little bit. You know, just remember this is the first quadrant, second quadrant, third, and the fourth quadrant, right? Remember that? So if the terminal side is in the first quadrant, the reference angle is standard position angle, whatever it is. If it's in the second quadrant, we can take 180 minus standard position, and that will give you the reference angle. If it's down here like this one is, you can take 180 plus, okay, 180 plus the standard position angle, and then fourth quadrant is the reference angle. It's 360 minus standard position. Okay. All right, I hope that helped you guys a little bit. If you have any questions, obviously, please contact me or let me know.